Okay, so hello, good evening. This is day 2 of the 5 days of the critical steps to balance your hormones in 12 weeks. So how are you doing this evening? I love this to be interactive, so I'd love you to give me a hello if you're watching live, if you're watching on replay. It's always really, really good to connect. So if you joined me last night, so I've got these 5 days. If you joined me last night, I spoke through the step of how to reboot your energy. So what that means is we're looking to give you some energy back short term, like quickly if we can, to give you enough energy to take the next 4 steps. So last night we briefly looked at hydration, which is really, really important for overall health. We're made up of about 70% water, just like the earth. And when we're dehydrated, we're really, really low on energy. And then we spoke about the hormone insulin, how you can become resistant to insulin and how to maintain your blood sugar levels. And that's what really, really helps you to quickly get some energy back. There may be some other steps, probably likely some other steps that you need to do after that. So for example, you may be anemic, you may have low thyroid function, you may have other hormones out of balance. So we need to look at that too. But the first step is to give you a little bit of energy to kind of get that tank moving again. And tonight we're looking at how to restore your core energy system. And when I say restore your core energy system, that is your gut health that we're actually talking about. So I think a couple of you have given me a few comments. So let me just say hello to you. Oh, quite a few. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Karina. Hi, Sean. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for giving me a hi in the comments. I always really, really appreciate that interaction. So let's move on a little bit. So I'm going to give you a quick reminder, in case you wasn't here last night, that there's a couple of things going on. One of them is that I'm going to give you a thank you bonus. If you come along to all 5 days, to say thank you for making the time and putting the energy into coming to all these trainings and helping your own health, right? Setting an example to others, setting an example to your children if you've got children, taking the weight off of the NHS by taking personal responsibility for your health, then I'm going to give you a thank you gift. So we're going to play a little game where I'm giving you, oh, that's reminded me, I haven't put a reminder of the letter that I need to share in the presentation tonight. So if I haven't told you by the end, you're going to have to remind me. I'm trying to remember what the word is now. I'm going to give you a different letter each night. So I gave you a letter last night. So if you've missed that, you need to go back and watch it. I'm going to give you a letter tonight. If you can spell the word after 5 days, drop me a private message, and I'm going to give you this menu plan that I've put together. So it's all of my favourite recipes that take 15 minutes or less that are also hormone balancing. And there's lots of main meals in there, there's desserts, and there's a snack or a breakfast recipe in there for you as well. The other little bonus is I've got a product to give away. Oh, just dropped a few things on the floor, sorry. Which are these 2 wonderful products. I'm not going to go into detail because it's in last night's training, but if you want some Nano Gold or an Omega Balance, so this is valued at £50, I'm going to send out some products to the person that interacts the most with me over the next 5 days while I'm running this live, because I said last night, I'm sharing my energy with you and it's so lovely to feel your energy back. So I'm going to incentivize you to do it. So please keep interacting, answering my questions as we go along, so it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself. And someone's going to win that lovely prize that I'm going to post out on Friday afternoon, or if it takes a while to work out who it is, maybe Saturday morning. So tonight we're talking about gut health. I mentioned that already. So I just wanted to start by saying it's really, really common, so normal to suffer, or not normal, it's common but not normal, I should say, but really, really common to suffer with gut health problems. So if you don't really know what that is, in the simplistic terms, it's suffering from bloating, so getting uncomfortable perhaps after you've eaten. It may be immediately after, maybe a few hours after. Perhaps you've got lots of wind either direction, so there might be burping or passing wind, aka farting, which can be really embarrassing, acid reflux or heartburn, and then like constipation and diarrhea. So this is so common that you may think that this is normal for you. So I know that I've never been diagnosed with IBS, but I would definitely say that I have a history of IBS if I look back over my health history. Always suffering with bloating, naturally leaning towards constipation, at other times going the other direction. You know, if I'd eaten something that hadn't suited me, on the toilet all day, that kind of thing. I've not had personally a lot of reflux or heartburn, but I know that lots of people do suffer with that. So just say it's so common that you may just think this is just you, but it's not. It is actually your body giving you warning signs that something's not quite right, and we do need to tune into those early warning signs, and I'm going to be explaining a little bit about why. So if it's not too embarrassing, and I'm talking about very openly, so I hope that my openness is helping you feel open as well. Do you feel like you suffer from many of these challenges? And this is often what goes wrong first, or some of the first warning signs in the body before it goes into bigger problems or deeper problems within the body. So we really want to be paying attention when we're getting these subtle or not so subtle warning signs. Okay, so if you have gut health problems and you ignore them because through no fault of your own, you may just think this is normal for you, you have to put up with it, you've tried solving it before and you wasn't able to solve it before, it can lead to lots and lots of problems within the body. But what I really want to focus on for this training is 5 major hormone disrupting issues. So I'm going to take a quick look at the comments because I can see there's a few coming in. I was just saying people are watching. Claire says hi. I think I said hello to Kelly, Caroline. Did I say hello to you already? Right, so the 5 major hormone disrupting issues that I think are massive for us women, especially in this community, are first of all, chronic inflammation. And how does chronic inflammation show up? Well, first of all, it shows as pain. So I've felt inflammation in my mouth before. Who's felt that? Like maybe when your gums are inflamed, or I felt inflammation in my joints. So my family lean towards arthritic kind of pain. And if I'm not taking care of myself, I definitely get some of that arthritic kind of pain. So that could be pain in the joints, but it could just be pain all over. So even things like chronic back pain, that is going to be because of inflammation. So tell me what you've got that's attached to inflammation. So inflammation begins in the arteries, and then goes to the organs and the joints, and left unchecked, apart from causing pain, it can actually contribute towards chronic disease. So things like heart disease, blood vessel disease, diabetes, which we was talking about a lot about yesterday, cancer, Alzheimer's, so all of the things that we want to be avoiding. So we want to keep inflammation low in the body. Okay, one of the other hormone disrupting issues that is gut health is a contributing factor is our hormones, but particularly compromised serotonin. So serotonin is our feel-good hormone. In fact, all of our feel-good hormones like dopamine, serotonin, what other ones am I missing there? They'll come back to me in a moment. But also serotonin is actually contributes towards us having a good night's sleep. So if your gut health is not working very well, it can actually disrupt your sleep. It also elevates cortisol levels, or can elevate cortisol levels. We spoke about this quite a lot last night. Elevated cortisol leads to elevated blood sugar levels because the body's producing more cortisol and it thinks that you need energy to do something like to fight or flight. So blood sugars are elevated, and so we're feeling more stressed, the body's under stress, and that leads to, we was talking about last night again about pre-diabetes and diabetes. Another hormone disrupting issue is that it can lead to candida. So you probably know about this one. So candida might give you things like thrush. So have you had thrush before? That is something that I used to suffer with a lot. So it could be oral thrush. It could be thrush in other places where you don't want it. I think you know what I'm talking about. But candida also leads to lots and lots of sugar cravings, lots and lots of feelings of tiredness. It can actually lead to sinus infections as well, fungal infections, so things like athlete's foot, or like now fungal infections as well, and digestive issues generally. And then the last one, so the last hormone disrupting issue, I would say, is linked to immunity. So you're more likely, if your gut health is not strong, you're more likely to come down with colds and viruses and sicknesses which you can't shake off. So gut health is related to a lot within the body. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the comments. Actually, rather than me leaning down, I'm just going to pick up my phone. So you are sharing a bit here. So Lisa's saying not too much, but had constipation and some heartburn in the last year since your diet has got worse. I know, in lockdown, oh God, the biscuit barrel or the cakes. I think everyone can resonate with feeling like we haven't eaten as healthily in lockdown. There's the odd person who's really looked after their diet. Some of the women that particularly that I'm working with in the 12-week program, the Exhausted to Energize method, they've used this time of lockdown to really nail their health. But I think for the majority of people, we've kind of relied on some comfort foods to get through the time, let's say. Samantha's saying she's got 2 of those. Sarah Bailey's saying, before I started my health kick in January, I suffered from diarrhea. It's resolved. That's brilliant, Sarah. Kelly says stiffness in joints and sometimes burning knees. Yes. Karina. Lisa, upper back, shoulder pain, swollen hands and fingers after working at the computer. Yes, that's definitely inflammation, Lisa, 100%. Karina, sleep issues, chronic pain and stress. Okay, so yes, we are suffering from these problems and it's not surprising. Okay, so let's carry on. Thank you for sharing that with me. So Hippocrates, you must have heard of Hippocrates. He's a Greek physician. They call him the father of medicine. And he taught us so much about the body, and so much of what he taught us hundreds and hundreds of years ago, you know, we're really only learning about now. But he said that all disease begins in the gut. So these warning signs from digestive issues, we really need to pay attention to, because like I've said already, if disease begins there, then it is going to move on to deeper issues within the body if we don't kind of nip it in the bud when we're having these warning signs. So I spoke about the 5 main hormone disrupting issues that gut health can cause, and there are more issues. So I'm just going to briefly touch on them. I think some of these we've covered, but energy is an absolute huge one when it comes to digestion, because digestion takes up a lot of our energy anyway. So if digestion is weak, then just digesting our food is going to be using most of our energy, and we're not going to feel like we've got energy to do all the fun things that we want to do in life. So I mentioned arthritic pain, headaches and migraines. Definitely brain fog is massively linked to gut health, as is anxiety and depression. And like I mentioned last night, lots of these are multifactorial, so it won't only be gut health, but it is a massive contributing factor, and one of the things that you 100% need to heal if you want to get over these problems. So anything linked to the lungs is related to gut health, so asthma, bronchitis, coughs, even long COVID that's affecting the lungs, that will be massively linked to gut health. So sinus problems, sleep we've mentioned, skin, so anything to do with skin like acne, eczema, psoriasis, dry skin, flaking skin, all of those things are related to gut health. Hormones, so things like PMS, periods, hot flashes, and I know a lot of women I work with, they might just remove, not completely remove, but greatly reduce sugar, for example, from a diet, and they will say to me, I'm not having the hot flashes anymore, or my PMS is gone. One of the clients I worked with recently, she found for her PMS that if she didn't have caffeine, no PMS. So it can literally be as simple as taking out one of these foods that are affecting you. So I always like to kind of explain why may your gut health be compromised, and there's really so many reasons. It can be genetics, and it definitely is passed down from one generation to another, but I don't want that to put you off thinking that you can't heal from it. So genetics are really expressed, in my experience and my knowledge, they're expressed when we live the same kind of lifestyle. So this deficiency or this imbalance is passed down, but then we lead the same kind of lifestyle, so it might be inactivity or a poor diet, so the same kind of problems are expressed. But let's say your parents or one of your parents had IBS. If you follow a really good diet that suits your body type, it probably won't be expressed in the same way for you. Okay, so I wouldn't get hung up on genetics. Medication, so you'll probably know, the long list that goes along with medications. That's not to say you don't need your medication and they can't help us sometimes, but there are a long list of contraindications with medication and side effects as well. Antibiotics, now this is well known. If you're taking antibiotics in the last couple of years, you should definitely have taken or take a probiotic to repopulate the gut with good bacteria. So antibiotics are great at wiping out everything, but we do need the good bacteria, so we need to repopulate with the good bacteria. Oral contraceptives are, particularly over a long period of time, really disrupt the gut microbiome. So if you've been on the pill or any kind of oral contraceptive for a long time, you probably need to be looking at your gut health. Processed foods and sugars, so we know eating good for us is not good for our gut health. Toxins, pesticides, herbicides, so you could be eating lots of fruits and vegetables, but if none of it is organic and you're taking on a lot of pesticides and herbicides, that can cause disruption to your gut health. Stress, I spoke about that a lot last night, but that is a massive disruptor for gut health. And have a quick look. Lisa says she's got brain fog. It's a big thing for me. Been randomly getting dry skin in the same spot on my neck recently too. Interesting. Lisa says stress and anxiety. Okay, thank you for sharing. Food intolerances. So this is a huge one. You can have an intolerance and literally not know for your whole life. I've got an intolerance to dairy, definitely 100%. I've shared this story before, but I'll share it again because some of you are new here or haven't heard me share this. But when my mum found not that long ago, a year ago or something, a book where she'd sort of made notes, you know, when you sort of baby notes when you have a baby, and she said, she put on there, the first time she gave me cow's milk, I was sick, right? That is a warning sign that this baby is not digesting animal milk very well. So I was fine on breast milk, but not on cow's milk. So I was sick the first time. By the time I got to primary school and we were paying for the milk in the bottles, I never wanted it. So my body was like, no, you know, I didn't like the flavour of it. So if you don't like the flavour of milk, that may be a warning sign that it's not actually suiting you. Your body's giving you these subtle signs, as I said. And then I didn't really realise that I had an intolerance to dairy, but I did know I suffered from digestive problems a lot. And it's only once I started to cut it out, and I'm not 100% dairy free. So there is some sort of dairy that I can get away with. I might be okay with a little bit of mozzarella or a little bit of feta, but you know, not so good on drinking milk or something like that. So if I do have some cheese that doesn't suit me, I will have diarrhea again the next day. So it may be that you've got a slight intolerance to a food. So it could be dairy or anything else really, and you don't know. So you're constantly having it, but you're constantly having these digestive issues. Low stomach acid, so that's a really big one. So particularly if you've got acid reflux or you're feeling bloated a lot, very likely that you've got low stomach acid. Deficiencies can contribute to, so it may be why your gut health is compromised. So if you're deficient in B12 or even your probiotics, this is going to compromise your gut health, and heavy metals as well. So if you've got lots of metal fillings, or you eat lots of deep sea fish that have a lot of mercury in them, or you're eating a lot of tinned food, all of those things, the heavy metals can contribute to a compromised gut health. Just going to have a quick look. Lisa saying it's very interesting. I really don't like the taste of milk on its own. Yeah, I personally think, in my experience, it's a massive warning sign, Lisa, that that milk may not suit you, and the body's trying to go, hello, listen to me, don't have that, but we just don't get it because we don't know. So now you do know, so you can try it out, right? So given that about 60% of your feel-good hormones are in your gut, right, you could be feeling 60% better when you balance your gut health. So who thinks that sounds good? Who would like to balance their gut health a little bit more and be feeling not only more energetic and to get rid of some of these problems that I've been talking about, but more focused as well? If you feel like you are suffering from brain fog, gut health is really your, healing your gut health is really your friend. So some of those other feel-good hormones that I forgot earlier, so I said serotonin and dopamine, oxytocin and endorphins as well. So we need all of those things to feel good. So let's talk about how to heal the gut. And there are lots of steps. So I can only give you so much in this training, but I want to give you as much value as I can this evening. So there are some specific foods that I'm going to go through with you tonight that will repopulate your gut with good bacteria. So this is really important if you've been on long-term medication, long-term oral contraception, you've taken antibiotics recently or many times in the past, steroids, anything like that, need to repopulate the gut with good bacteria. Or if you don't eat a very wide range of foods, so we want to get through about 30 different fruits and vegetables a week to get this really wide range of different colours and different antioxidants to really help our gut health. And if we're eating a very narrow amount of food, some people only like carrots and apples, that sort of thing, you're going to need to repopulate the gut with good bacteria. So it's these specific healing foods can also reduce inflammation. So that's what I think it was Lisa who mentioned inflammation and the joint pain earlier. It can help you break down foods more effectively. So if you're suffering with that acid reflux, that heartburn, the bloating, we need to increase the stomach acids that can help you to break down the foods more effectively using things like enzymes. We can heal the gut lining. So if you've got leaky gut or you've got symptoms of leaky gut, and we can help you effectively absorb your nutrients. So we are not what we eat, we are what we absorb. So you could be eating the best diet in the world, but if you're not absorbing any of that food and it's literally just going straight through you, you're not going to be feeling any better, and it's going to be a complete waste of money of all these good and lovely fresh foods or organic foods or whole foods. So we do need to make sure that we are absorbing well. So these what these specific foods are going to do. And those specific foods that I'm talking about are healing foods. So I'm going to go run through the list of healing foods, and you can tell me if you feel like, are you not eating many of them, or is there a particular one that you can increase a little bit more. So the first healing food is bone broth, and you can make up vegan versions with, I've got a lovely mineral broth that we get some seaweeds in as well. And there's lots of different studies and arguments around this, whether like bones, because of the collagen and the amino acids, are much more healing than the vegetables and the seaweeds. But then, you know, we've got to take into consideration how the animals looked after, what stress the animal was under, if they're eating many foods that have got pesticides or they're taking many antibiotics. All those things contribute to our gut health. So that is a big consideration. If you are using bone broth, try and do homemade and try and use organic bones if you can. To buy bones is really, really inexpensive. So I think most people probably can invest in organic bones. So bone broth is very healing, and you're going to need like 1 or 2 cups a day to actually start to heal the gut. Vitamin A is really important. So this is found in like the lovely orange foods, so things like sweet potatoes and carrots and green leafy vegetables as well. Good fat, so we're avoiding bad fats, things that are cooked in fats at high temperatures, or, you know, sunflower oils or vegetable oils. All the kind of oils that they use in processed foods we want to be avoiding. And the ones that we want to be including are things like a small amount of butter is okay, and ghee and coconut oil and cold pressed olive oil. These are all wonderful healing good fats. Coconut's really good as well. That's got lots of lovely good fats in it. I'm just going to have a quick look. I'm having my fillings replaced next Wednesday. Kelly, this is really interesting. You have to talk to your dentist about this, but it's really good to have the silver fillings taken out, but that can cause a lot of toxicity in the body when they're actually removed. So you need to take some things that are going to actually help to bind to any of that mercury and take it out of the body. So things like spirulina and chlorella and coriander are going to help to do that. So you need to make sure that you're including some of these foods when you have that work done. Now, some dentists will only take out 1 filling at a time, so you don't flood the body with too much toxicity. Other dentists think it's better to do it all in one go, but you do need to work with someone very experienced to do the job really well. But I'm glad to hear that you're having them out. Just looking at the comments, sounds good. Love my bone broth. I use it to make my pasta sauce. Brilliant, Sarah. So yeah, you can hide it in things like that. If you don't just want to drink bone broth, you can put it into your stews, your stocks, your soups. So I love that you put it in a tomato sauce there. I haven't done that myself. Lisa, I bought some bone broth from Mindful Chef. Yeah, it is almost as good, definitely. Yes, I absolutely love those. They're full of flavour. And I do think that it's really important that not all of us can stand in the kitchen, me included, for hours a day and make, you know, like a domestic goddess and make everything from scratch. So we need to look at cheats, but cheats that are almost as healthy. So like you say, there are some lovely online places that sell homemade bone broths, and the Mindful Chef ones are homemade as well, and they're delicious. So yes, definitely get some of those in the freezer. Love that. Okay, fermented foods, so things like kefir. It doesn't have to be dairy kefir, you can get water kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso. There's loads of fermented foods that you could be including. Most people need to be including more of those. Fiber-rich foods. So this is very healing for the gut, but if you have digestive problems, sometimes you have to go slow with fiber. So like I was talking about yesterday, not throwing things in all of a sudden. And, you know, we was talking about intermittent fasting. I wasn't saying like, don't start intermittent fasting for 16 hours a day when you've never done it before, right? Build up to it. So it's a bit like that with the fiber. If you don't have a lot of fiber at the moment, you may need to build up slowly. And people with serious digestive problems like colitis really need to go minimal on the fiber. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because we need fiber to move our bowels. We need to be moving our bowels every single day. It's a really good point. I haven't said that yet. Probably move your bowels as many times as you eat a day. So if you eat 3 times a day, you should be pooping 3 times a day. So 1 to 3 times a day is what's classed as normal. So I've mentioned probiotics. Bitter foods are amazing for digestion. There's not many bitter foods, but things like salads, endive leaves, dandelion roots, chicory root coffee, it's not proper coffee, but chicory root that's ground down that you can make a tea or coffee with. Other bitter foods, it's a lot of the salady kind of leaves, so you could probably even put rocket under that as well. Sprouted foods, so these are like the alfalfa sprouts, the broccoli sprouts. You could even add cress to this. These are really important for digestive enzymes, for raw living energy that we're getting into our system. And the last thing is cooked food. So again, this depends on your gut health and your constitution as well. Some people are better with raw foods, but if you do for energy, and for digestive enzymes. But a lot of people, when they have very weak digestion, they have to start with all cooked foods and no raw foods at all. So that will be down to the individual. Selena, probiotics is making a difference on healing my gut at the moment. Good. So Selena messaged me about a probiotic, so I'm glad to hear that is working for you, Selena. So yeah, you've got an issue with fiber. Yeah, so just be aware of it. Don't include too much fiber for you, Selena. You need to be building up slowly. Samantha, how often should you have fermented foods? Every single day. Every single day you need fermented foods. I love kombucha. I think I've had Fed here in this group. Fed makes kombucha. He brews it himself in Wales. It's an amazing kombucha. You can get it from the supermarket as well. His one's better, of course, because anything that's sold, you know, in massive amounts normally isn't quite as good quality, but I often pick it up in my local supermarket if I haven't got any from Fed. So that's my easy ways to get some fermented foods every day. But you could have a couple of footfuls of sauerkraut every day if you really like that. You could be drinking kefir. You may get on well with dairy kefir, but you might prefer the water kefir. Okay, so apart from healing foods, there's another massive piece of the puzzle of healing gut health, and this is you may need to remove some foods. This isn't really a one size fits all. So you could do a proper elimination diet. However, I work with busy professional women. Most of the time they're mums, and they haven't got the mental space, especially when they're low on energy, and the time to do a proper elimination diet. So this is when you remove like all major foods from your diet and you go back to basics, and you do that for a period of weeks and you slowly introduce one food at a time. Okay, it's not practical for most people, and most people don't need to do that. I'd say maybe 10% of people that I work with need to go right back to basics. So a couple of people that I'm working with at the moment, we have had to strip things right back because they're never going to heal unless they do that. So it's kind of like you've got to go through the pain, and you've got to do all of that work in the first place to start healing the gut and then slowly reintroducing things. Otherwise, you're just going to be suffering forever. But for most people, it might just be one food or two foods that they need to eliminate. But this is where you need personalization. So I've listed some of the foods that people need to remove. So sometimes it's histamine. So if you're suffering with lots of like allergies or hay fever, it may be foods that are high in histamine. It may be oxalates. It may be mucus forming foods if you're getting lots of sinus or ear problems or throat problems or chest problems. It could be foods that slow down the digestion that you need to remove. It could be acidic foods if you've got like a lot of joint pain. Some people don't do well on citrus or corn. Most people don't do well on too much sugar. Artificial sweetness can be a big trigger for people. And actually the fermented foods that I was just talking about, there are some people that can't have the fermented foods, and legumes, so like beans and nuts and seeds and all those kind of things. And we mentioned it there as well, the fiber, not everyone can have the fiber. So it's likely that there is going to be some kind of foods that you need to remove. So it's both of those things. There's some that you're going to need to remove, and it's going to be very hard to heal if you don't take them out. I personally, the way that I work, because I'm realistic and I want to make things enjoyable and doable for people, I don't like to go super strict straight from the beginning. I like to ease people gently in. I like to get people seeing results and then slowly take things out if we need to, whilst getting the healing foods in there at the same time. But that gives you an idea of some of the types of foods that may need to be eliminated, or they may just need to be taken out for a short period of time. Okay, so I love this quote by Tony Robbins. I'm sure he wasn't the first person that said it, but it said, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So I know sometimes it can feel like effort to change, can't it? And we don't want to. It's just more convenient just to go with those foods that we know and love and that we always have. But unless you're prepared to keep feeling the same symptoms that you've got now, you're going to keep getting the same results. And I really believe there's lots of different ways to heal. There are many ways to heal. I love acupuncture. I love breath work. I love yoga. I love cacao. I love exercise. I love nature. But, you know, food is such a huge part of us. It's something that we're doing 3 times a day. Most people aren't exercising 3 times a day, or aren't remembering to do breath work 3 times a day, or aren't getting to 3 yoga classes a day, or 3 walks a day in nature, but we are eating 3 times a day, or maybe more for you, maybe less, but roughly 3 times a day. So we're doing this so frequently, we need to get it right. And that doesn't mean we need to be perfect, but it really is an indicator of our base level of health. So it's something that we do need to take seriously. And are you prepared? This is my question to you this evening. Are you prepared to keep accepting your digestive discomfort? Okay, so it might be your bloating, might be your constipation, might be your diarrhea, might be your acid reflux. Are you prepared to keep accepting that, even if it feels normal and you feel like you're used to it and you can cope with it? And I've put here, and the hormone disruption that this is causing, because like I said earlier, your gut health is going to lead on to other things. Okay, so you might just think it's okay, it's a little bit of bloating every now and again, I can put up with that, but no, that is your body giving you a warning sign of something's not quite right. Do you want to jump in and, you know, deal with that now, or are you going to wait until it gets more serious? So I just want to remind you of the 5 major hormone disrupting issues that the gut health leads to: chronic inflammation, compromised serotonin, which affects your sleep, elevated cortisol, which is going to leave you feeling stressed out all the time, so impatient and, you know, snappy, but also it affects your blood sugar levels, which leads to late weight gain as well. Candida, so that's all the things like the cravings, the fungal infections that are hard to get rid of, the thrush, and lowered immunity as well. So these colds, these coughs, these sicknesses, viruses that you can't shake off very easily because the gut needs working on. So remember, this is just one part of the 5 critical steps to balance your hormones. So on day 1, yesterday, we covered how to reboot your energy. Today, we're talking about restoring your core energy system, which is gut health. But there's 5 things that you need to do overall to balance the hormones. So tomorrow night, I'm coming back at 8 p.m. So it's 8 p.m. Monday to Friday this week. It's the only time that I was consistently available. Plus, I thought lots of you would be available in the evenings as well. So tomorrow night, I'm doing a training on eliminating energy sappers. So once you've actually given yourself a bit of boost of energy, you've started to heal the gut health, which could be a short process, could be a long process. So, you know, that process itself could take 2 years, but it might just be a few months. So Sarah shared earlier, Sarah Bailey, January, she changed her diet and she's feeling significantly better. So it can be quite quick as well when you make changes. So it depends on how much you're struggling at the moment as to how long it will take. I like to say it takes about, to give you an indication, 1 month of healing for every year that you've been ill, or that your health hasn't felt, you know, peak health. So after we've done those 2 things, there still might be things that are sapping your energy that's stuck in your body. So some hormones that are not being eliminated properly. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So, I haven't given you the letter. So just remembered, 5 letters. So the first one, can't say what it was. You need to go back and see it. Second one, so today's letter is E. Okay, so get your note section out on your phone or make a note of it. Second letter of the 5 letters is E. If you're playing along, to get my menu plan at the end of the week, which is my favorite recipes that you can cook in 15 minutes or less that are also hormone balancing. So let me know if you're coming back tomorrow night. Let me know if you've got any questions for tonight. Post it into the comments box and I will answer them afterwards. And if you know anyone else who will benefit from this training, I cannot get the word out by myself to the whole entire world, but we could all have this knock-on effect of, I love this person, I care for them, and I want to share this information with them. I know they'd really benefit from this training. So please invite people to the group if you feel that this will benefit them, and your friends, your loved ones, your family, your sisters, your mom, they're not already in this group, and tag them into the training as well. I'm also putting this in a really easy place that I've made a little page where every single training is going to be on there, so you can watch it that way as well. So that is all for this evening. I will be back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful for you showing up this evening, for you commenting and interacting with me. I'm just going to check quickly. No, need to take action. Enough is enough after last night's session. Oh, okay. I'm worried about pre-diabetes and diabetic, especially as I've Oh, okay. So yeah, in pregnancy you had diabetes. Okay, Lisa. Samantha, need to change but have no idea where to start. Thank you, Hannah. So I'm giving you the information to take away with you this week. But I run my 12-week program, the Exhausted to Energize method. And so if you want more support, I would love, love, love to help you. This is my calling. I've shared this before. I can help you make these changes. This is what we really need. I really believe this. From my heart of hearts, we need support to make the changes. We lose motivation when we try to do it by ourselves, or we try something and it doesn't work and we don't get the results, and we don't think it's working for us. It might have just needed tweaking. You know, I mentioned earlier about fermented foods and how you probably need need them. For some people, it's no good for them. Okay, you're not going to know that, but I work with women every single day, so I know what is suiting someone and what's not. So if you want more support, please do get in touch with me, drop me a private message or comment below, and we can talk about getting the help that you need in the 12-week program. 3 months from now, you can be feeling significantly better. And I've got so many video reviews if you want to watch any, if you need, if you're feeling like, oh, but it wouldn't work for me, I've got so many reviews of women saying exactly the same thing and it has worked for them. So as long as you want to change, you're willing to make changes, and you are coachable, so you're willing to ask for help, you can see big changes with your health. So just get in touch if you would like to do that. Okay, I'm going to stop this and I will see you tomorrow night. It was lovely to see you all this evening. Bye.